All right, Putin moves south. Struggle for the Eurasian Heartland. Joseph Miranda, Modern War magazine game, number 37 from last year, 2018. First of all, the BM-30 is Russian equipment identification cards. BM-30, quite a large system there. If you can see the size of the truck there. 300 millimeter main weapon, range of 90 kilometers. This is a multiple rocket launcher, as you can clearly see in the picture there. The Russians love their multiple rocket launchers. All right, Putin moves south. Still enjoying this. Some new things are emerging. So first of all, since the last video, both sides have taken a couple of actions. Primarily it's getting forces to the front. So the Russians coming down here, the Russians coming down here, coming over here, and then the PRC coming up here. Yeah, that primarily. So with so many different kinds of moves, right? So you have your normal one unit non-hyper war unit move, 1d6 for movement allowance. Then you have move all hyper war units action, railroad admin move, and that's by contingent. You're rolling 2d6 for a movement allowance along a railroad. Significant is that you cannot end in an enemy zone of control. No, that's different. Because only hyperwar units have, where's a hyperwar unit? Here's a hyperwar unit. Only hyperwar units have a zone of control, but actually the railroad movement, if I remember correctly, you cannot end adjacent to an enemy. So that means you can't railroad into a fight, into an attack. So actually, that's like here, to come up here and attack the PRC core, the Russians have to do, if they're back here, they need to do a rail move up, stop short, so they're not adjacent. That's one action. Then the coalition gets an action. Then it comes back. Russians have to do a normal move in, adjacent, and then coalition gets another action. Then they do an attack. So actually, it's more dynamics are emerging here, not surprisingly, that weren't obvious before. So first of all, first thing that, with so many different kinds of moves, let me finish what I was thinking there, and going back and forth and having, the average, by the way, is about 10, 11, 12 action points per turn, although it's quite easy to be up at 15, 16, 17, but then again, I assume that it's also not too unusual to get down to, let's see, no, actually I take that back. You're not going to go that low. I guess until you're on the losing end of the balance here. Once the other side has seized a lot of your major bases, I guess. Okay, then I guess you could get low action points. But I'll wait to see that as well. But with all these different kinds of movement, average of 10, 11, 12 action points, I was thinking, no, that's not right. Average of about 12, 13, 14. Wait, what is it? Average is, yeah, 11, 12, 13. Okay. About that. All right. Moving your forces into position is actually more to it than I thought. I thought it would be so fluid that both sides would just quickly move up and start attacking. It's not. That's not happening. And what I mean by that is that it's turning into, again, a bit of a sub-game to figure out how you're moving. And that's not even maneuver. Maneuver should, I guess, in a sense, maneuver should always be a sub-game. But how you move, how you flow your forces towards the front, near the enemy, and then into contact is, there's a bit to it. And part of it is that you're going back and forth. That's a big thing. So, for example, the PRC here was adjacent to Karaganda city. And instead of attacking, although I really considered, so before this corps moved up like that, I considered attacking here, but instead I decided to use a rail move to get these units up here, and that gave the Russians the opportunity to move in and reinforce the city first. Yeah, and over here, well, I won't talk about that yet. All right, so I'll talk about that when that comes up, and I'm looking from the Russian side. Okay, so we're down to 7. We're down to 7 action points for the coalition. What was I going to do? I want to attack. That's the other thing. I thought the attacking would be, I guess, easier than it is. The other thing is that, here's a force strength. Here's another thing that's related to what I thought it would be a lot easier to just attack. Actually, I mean, the PRC Airborne Corps sitting here adjacent to Karaganda, it only has its garrison unit there. But even at 4 to 1, 4 to 1 still has 2 out of 6 chances, so 1 in 1/3 chance, 1 in 3 chance of having a bloodbath result. Even at 4 to 1, so that's what started me thinking, the attacks aren't as obvious as I thought they were. Yeah, the defending and attacking players each reduce one of their participating units by a step. I may not be, I don't know, so this would be reduced, but then at the very least I would be spending an action to, whatever they call it, regroup it, to get the step loss back, which again, when you're cycling back and forth, it's interesting. It's interesting. I really like the two things that go together. You're taking actions back and forth, and units are not done. That's what's really making it a fascinating play experience. So again, I'm looking for an attack, plain and simple. And I still don't see. Oh yeah, no, actually I do. I moved this guy up, and I don't even think. See, this is 4 to 1. Again 4 to 1. Well, let's just go ahead and do this attack here. So I'll declare the attack. I'm going to spend an action point. It's 4 to 1. The city. Let's see. There's city. Samay. That's going to be a 1 leftward shift. So now we're down to 3 to 1. I'm trying to remember the order. I'm doing this one quickly. Air first. Let's see. Now, right now in the staging area, the PRC only has 1 fighter unit, 1 normal fighter unit, as opposed to a 5th gen fighter. That's not good. So then, I guess the Russians could do air as well. Let's just say they don't. So then I'm going to commit one Chinese. I almost should save that. I'm just going to save that. Because again, in the staging area, the PRC only has 2 SF soft units. Of course, I could use. I only have the Muse SOC for the NATO in the staging area right now, so that's not a 1. Okay, what is 1 at 4 to 1? 1 at 3 to 1 because of the city. DL1, which is Defender Attrition 1. Defending player reduces 1 defending unit by 1 step. All right, that is this is. So I flip it over. It's taken over by coalition. I will advance in because at least it's defensive terrain. It's a minor base, so it's not a major base, so there's no loss of an action point to the Russian Confederation. I guess that's pretty much a basic attack. That's actually the best result I could have hoped for, or second best result.